Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blue Jays Today. We boys always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalog.
And I'm your host, Don Pedal. And today, guys, we got to talk about just how wrong Ross Atkins, the general manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, was when he came out and made comments about how power isn't such an essential thing when it comes to playoffs. We're watching it in front of our eyes right now. Yankees, Dodgers, and we're seeing how power is absolutely the formula to winning in the postseason, and how we got to talk about is this the right mentality the Blue Jays need to be having when they're going into one of their most critical off seasons in franchise history. Before we get to it, guys, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today. So let's rewind this a little bit, Nick. Let's go all the way back to that postseason presser that Ross Atkins had, where he made a comment when someone asked him, hey, are we going to be looking to add more power into this lineup? And he made a comment about that, brought in the playoffs, and it just kind of made everyone raise an eyebrow a little bit.
As it should, right? Like, the comment that we're referring to here was him saying that power is low-hanging fruit to add. He then went on and added to that and effectively was talking about how, yeah, you know, power can be kind of important, but it's not just as simple as plugging and playing it, because contact is actually the essential thing in the playoffs. That's proven, you know. And then he went to further on and talking about how, well, we got to have somebody who's a complete hitter and can do everything, which I think we can all agree, you know, like 100%, absolutely, you know, like if you could add a complete hitter who does have incredible contact and who does have incredible power and who does get on base and who does steal bases. Oh, wait. You could have. It was Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't get that done, right? Like, you're literally talking about an MVP caliber talent when you're referring to somebody who can do everything like that. But the biggest takeaway for me there is that him looking at power in a negative light. And this isn't the first time that we've heard this from the Toronto Blue Jays management as a whole. I think it was Don Mattingly talking about how power is a dangerous word and how that's something that we want to not necessarily avoid, but like not focus in on it and not really make that a strength of our ball team. And this has kind of been the direction that they've been going in ever since they traded away Teo and they got rid of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And you had that strong offensive showing where it was 45 home runs from Semien and 48 from Guerrero and multiple other guys like up there in the 30s and the high 20s, everything like that. Ever since that team, we've been going away from power because, according to Ross Atkins, that is not what is going to take you far in the playoffs.
Yeah, apparently it's contact, you know, and obviously he tries to backpedal a little bit in the middle of that comment saying, well, we also got to think about that, but also pairing it with power. But I think the most important thing is he was kind of doubling down on his whole philosophy that power or contact and on base is what wins you in the playoffs. Now, I want to throw out this stat right here, guys. I took a little bit of deep diving into just this postseason for the LA Dodgers. As of right now, this podcast is coming out. The Dodgers are 3-0 against the New York Yankees in the World Series. Yeah. It looks like they're about to win the World Series. So what a perfect example of a team that does it all, right? The team that's going to win it all in the World Series. Let's use them as an example. So of the 14 games that the Dodgers have played, the outcome, the winner of those games, 12 of those games, their team won when they outscored their homer via the home run. So if you outscored your team just via the home run, you would win 12 of the 14 games if you were the LA Dodgers this year. So that just goes to show that, yes, power is actually more important than we think, and is actually countering Ross's point that it's not contact, it's not on base. Sure, do the Dodgers have great contact and on base? Yes, because they have 3 effing MVPs on their team.
Right.
But they also have that power that is overpowering the rest of the lineups in the MLB.
Well, I mean, I really don't think it's that complicated. You know, the team that hits the most home runs is going to win more games than not. Like, that's just the way of it, because, you know, if you're hitting more home runs than said other team, well, that team then is going to have to string how many more hits or how many more walks together, right? Like, you know, for every home run that you hit, if they're not hitting a home run, what? Do they need 3 additional hits to get that additional? You know what I mean? It's like you start to really ask for something when you don't have that power. And I think the LA Dodgers are obviously a great example. They're probably going to be the World Series team. Now, to Ross Atkins' credit, they do have a lot of guys that can do everything. You know, like Mookie can do it all, and Freddie and Ohtani. The list goes on and on and on and on. But they are also delivering with the home runs when need be.
Right. And I do want to transition a little bit before we do, like, let's go work with Ross Atkins' philosophy right here. Actually, in this World Series, if you go look at the box scores, the Yankees they've only been out hit by 1 hit in this entire series. But who's getting the advantage? it is the Dodgers because they have out-homered them in every single game, and they've also had some pretty good pitching performances as well. So, yeah, like, obviously, right there you can see that the other side of the things where if we played like the Yankees, where they've had multiple times runners in scoring position, and they got to come up with a big hit, but they can't. They can't get the big home run. They can't get the timely single because it's just hard to do that against great pitching staffs. Now, with all that being said, like, obviously just go sign big guys, super easy. No, it's not, because it costs a lot of money. So why not just go out and get a power bat, right? If our team is being built right now to have great contact, great on base, I look at guys like Bo Bichette had a bad year, but great contact hitter. You could probably argue that, maybe. But he's supposed to be a great, high, average contact hitter. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., obviously a great contact hitter. And then you're bringing up a lot of these rookies that are supposed to be great contact hitters like a Will Wagner and an Ernie Clement, right? He's not a rookie, but he's a little bit older. So you have all this contact in your lineup. Well, where is the power, right? Obviously Vladdy, but that is about it, guys. We need to add more power into this lineup so that when we get those guys who have contact on base, we need guys who can drive them in and drive them in over the wall.
Yeah, of course, right? It's going to piss me off to no end if all the players that we are targeting this offseason are defense first, and sure that they can hit, but we're looking at 20 home runs on a good year type thing.
Right.
Like, you do need to go at, and you do need to look at those big guys where the ceiling, and this is the thing. It's not a guarantee that they're going to hit 45 every year. Not everybody is Aaron Judge or Pete Alonso. Granted, you could go out.
You could get Pete Alonso
if you so wanted to, which would be great. But you need somebody that has that ceiling or capability. I can tell you, like straight from my chest, that we have one guy on the team right now who maybe could hit over 40 home runs in a season. And that's maybe, right? He's no guarantee either. He's only done it one time. Right? So that's even him. And we're talking about Guerrero, obviously. There's not a single other player on that team right now, on that roster, that, maybe I'm selling them short, that I see in the near future, the next 3 years, anyone hitting 40 home runs. It's just not going to happen, right, with the team that we currently have. And you look at the guys on the Yankees and the Dodgers and everything, and I know that they are the highest caliber of teams, but there are multiple players in that lineup that have the capability to do so. To his point about contact, of course contact's important. I'm never going to say that having a high batting average is a bad thing. Like, fuck, give me Luis Arias 10 times out of 10. I want that guy. But you look over at the New York Yankees and you look over at the Dodgers right now. Both of them are in the World Series. They made it here. Yeah, I know that the Yankees are getting slapped, but they made it to the show, right? Like, that's obviously a successful season regardless. The Yankees have a .224 batting average in the postseason. They're in the World Series. The Dodgers have a .243 batted. That's lower than what Ernie Clement batted this year. Now I understand that they are up against the best pitchers. But because they're up against the best pitchers, it is very tough for even the Mookie Betts and the Ohtanis and the Freemans to string together hits, to get runs off of the best pitchers.
That's right.
It's hard to have a 300 batting average against them. You do need that home run ball, and you're seeing it from them. You saw it from the Yankees up until this point. Stanton was going crazy, and Soto was hitting a couple. They're getting shut down a little bit here by the Dodgers, and probably why the Dodgers are going to win this whole thing. But it's really, really tough to get all of that contact against the Garrett Coles and all of the greatest pitchers in the playoffs. Having somebody that can just pop one every now and again,
it's going to win you ball games.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's going to win you ball games. And when the Blue Jays back in 2021 were up there in home run leaders, I mean, what happened? We won a lot. We won the most games we have in this era.
Encarnacion and Bautista.
Oh, in that era too.
And I'm looking back at that time when we were the most successful, right? It's what made that team the most fucking successful?
It was home runs.
We were annihilating them every left, right. Every game. It was like you could have somebody hit 1, 2, or 3 bombs, right? And you're always threatening. You're always, even when there is nobody on base.
That's right.
You are threatening a run. We don't have that capability right now as a ball team, and it needs to change.
It needs to, right? And I know Ross Atkins' comments were very, complicated, and he kind of went back and forth between like, oh, well, power's a low-hanging fruit, so we don't necessarily need to be worried about that because contact's more important, but also like we need to balance both of them. And it was just kind of a, it's a BS answer, of course, but at the end of it all, he does say, talking about the complexity of just hitting an offense. I think there's more. It's more than just adding power bats, but we're certainly open to adding a power bat. Obviously, I mean, again, more BS. He's just kind of going back for it, playing the middle side. But if he is open to adding power bat, then take your own advice, Ross Atkins. It's low-hanging fruit. If it's such low-hanging fruit, why don't you take it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For a team that's won 74 games, if it is right there for the taking, grab it.
Yeah.
For the love of God, grab it. Because I think that's what is going to complement this team, and it's what we've been missing for the last 2 years.
Well, I'll tell you right now, guys, I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about Anthony Santander, and there's been a lot of people right now that are predicting Santander coming to the Toronto Blue Jays, and they make some incredible arguments. All of the stuff that we've been saying about this team, they do need power, and you know he is an outfielder, which is a position that we could use, and they do need protection to Guerrero, and all of it, like the boxes are checked across the board. Everything's looking good. The one thing that I come back to about why we might not sign a Santander is if Ross Atkins doesn't deem it valuable enough, because you are gonna need to pay for somebody that could give you 40, 45 bombs. That's something that he has in his bag. I'm not guaranteeing that he would do it, but he could. And the only other guy on the team that could is Guerrero. We need more guys where that is a possible outcome for them, and we currently don't have it. Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content.
Effectively, we lost George Springer, right? In meaning that we lost the George Springer that we signed initially.
He,
so we have to replace.
A couple years ago, could have done that.
Absolutely, right? But we lost that, right? We also lost Semien. You know, we lost Teoscar Hernandez. And Gurriel wasn't so much a power guy, but he had great kind of overall abilities. But we need to go and supplement that this season. You know, and yeah, sure, we have some rookie guys that might pop off. Maybe Ramos Martinez gets a chance. But again, we need guys that can prove it now because this window is closing. So get it done this offseason.
In conclusion, everybody, I can understand where he's coming from and thinking that power can be dangerous if that is the only aspect that you have to your team. Because sure, there might be games where it's just strikeout city, but we don't have any of it.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a happy medium here. So please, Ross Atkins, if you are watching this postseason, let it reevaluate your thinking. Let it help you go into free agency and think about a Pete Alonso or think about a Santander, because what they would mean for this team moving forward would be huge.
We're begging you, man. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't already and subscribe to Blue Jays Today for all the latest news and updates. $3 a month to become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members and to our YouTube members as well. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Thank you so much for watching, and as always,
Go Jays, go!